Hi guys, it's Joy, and I saw a few videos covering this and I was kind of giggling, a couple of drama channels. I'm like, what is this? So people are saying that they have more evidence that Jeffree Star has been money shaming people. I watched the videos, I went through it, and I'm going to be as thorough as I can and break down everything I've seen about this situation. And this comes from the fact that Trisha Paytas said she went on a trip with Jeffree, hairbyjay, and they were money shaming her. Rich Lux has said they money shamed him. There were a couple other people who have said that. And then we have seen a couple instances, like one instance we saw was on Shane and Ryland's podcast, The Sip. And Jeffree was on there and he made some crack about, I own my house, unlike some other YouTubers, and kind of did like a shady giggle, and they all kind of giggled around him. And people are saying they found more receipts about him money shaming. And not only money shaming, I saw the title of this video. Apparently, there's more coming out about Shane and his predatory activity. And on top of that, they broke the law, and there's more money shaming. There's even donation shaming. Yeah. So let's go ahead. I want to dive into this. So there were two videos that were done, one by Shane, one by Jeffree, and this was from a couple years ago. This was 2018. So they did a couple videos where basically Shane went to Walmart and made Jeffree dress in Walmart clothing for a day. Now the clip you're going to see here is when they went to the Olive Garden, which was right next to whatever Walmart they were at. They went to the Olive Garden afterward, and this was the conversation that was had about how much they spent. Take a look.
Okay, do you want to see how much we spent? Guess.
Okay.
All those clothes, makeup, everything combined.
Did you get the Sunny Delight?
Yeah, of course we did. What's our total? 47, maybe not this ass.
It's okay. Sorry. Why are the wallets in boxes?
This would
Like a dress?
This would be fine with the camouflage.
I love this, just like a USA moment. He's an astronaut. I'm guessing he's a catstronaut.
I got another graphic tee just as an option.
Oh my god, I love it. $400.
A whopping $249.65. I'm shook. I'm like, okay.
For all of that?
Yeah.
That's not even one of your articles of clothing on your body right now.
I get why Tana shops there.
Fuck.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah, looks like money shaming. I know in my last video I was like, well, we don't know. I mean, we don't fully know the context. Maybe this is his way of just saying Tana's a trashy person in his opinion. You know, but let's also say this. There's nothing wrong with wearing Walmart clothes. There's nothing wrong with shopping at Walmart. I get a lot of my hoodies and stuff from Walmart. I go to walmart.com and get all kinds of stuff. All kinds of really cheap, nice pieces of clothing. Probably stuff you guys have seen you don't know is from Walmart. So at the end of the day, Walmart is not only a retailer, they're huge with e-commerce. Now they weren't as big as e-commerce then. That's really stepped up its game lately. So you can find all kinds of cool stuff. And people are really struggling financially right now. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. He also, somewhere in this video, I didn't get the clip, but he said that it was towards the beginning of this video, he said stuff like, well, when I was on tour, we used to go to Walmart and stock up on snacks and stuff for the tour bus, you know, in the 2000s when I used to do music. And he said when he was younger, he went to Walmart, but it had been a while. In fact, he's so out of touch with things, he didn't even know where one was. Now, I want to tell you guys that the context of these videos too, because this is what we're going to go into next. Next, people were saying that Shane was acting like he was so poor in this video. He's so poor, he's so poor. And it was really offensive to people who are really struggling for money right now. I want to show you the clips that I saw where it could look that way. And then he would like tell Jeffree to do things with his money and assume Jeffree's money, and people were like, oh, Shane's gross and that's offensive. I want to show you the clips and I want to give you a little bit of a different perspective. Let's take a look.
I want to let you guys know watching, I don't understand this life either. So just know that, and I'm experiencing it for you. How much money do you think he has? Like right now, just like...
On him?
Yeah.
Well, in cash, there was at least 4 grand. More than I have in my account.
Maybe he'll sponsor one of my videes. Wait, can you give that girl $100? Sorry.
Stop it, Shane!
Oh, Shane!
You can't give away Jeffree's money.
Why not? It's our money.
Cash.
I don't have any.
What do you do when someone's like out in the road and like not moving? Run them over?
And then you give them $100 and you say,
oh, I love, thank God you're in my life. Yeah.
Give them all $100.
You better work, honey.
I'm going to be honest, I found nothing really offensive about this. This is jokes. This is just being, and here's the thing, guys, the whole joke about the video, this is what I want people to understand. The joke aspect is that Jeffree lives this insanely lavish lifestyle and he is really wealthy. Now look, compared to most of us, Shane looks wealthy. I'm not saying he isn't. Compared to Jeffree Star, Shane is small potatoes. That's the joke. Let me explain, because I actually pulled up some information about Jeffree's net worth so you guys can kind of have a bigger picture idea of why the joke is like this. It's not like Shane is trying to say I'm so poor or I'm so broke necessarily, but compared to Jeffree, listen to this. So this is from an article from 17.com. It says in April 2020, Jeffree himself confirmed that at this moment, net worth of Jeffree Star Cosmetics is like 1.5 billion. And that's just the cosmetics and not the other streams of revenue. He owns several properties, several houses. So we're talking about a billionaire versus maybe Shane is a few times over a millionaire. And I don't know, I'm not trying to assume Shane's finances and I'm not shaming him. I'm just saying the whole thing is Jeffree lives this crazy lifestyle where he's got butlers and assistants and all these things. And Shane still makes all of his own videos, does everything, just him and Ryland, everything in-house, just these two kind of doing it. I'm sure he has like a manager or something, but I think Shane is pretty old school when it comes to dealing with his money. And you gotta remember, it's not like YouTube AdSense is paying that much, right? Well, depends on what genre you do, depends on how you max it out, depends on the time of year, there's a lot of fluctuation with that. But I don't think it was like Shane being like, oh, feel sorry for me, I'm so poor. People took this and they tried to blow it up into that. The joke is Jeffree lives a crazy lifestyle from being a billionaire that we don't. And what is that like? Shane's got some money, but Shane doesn't own a plane. Do you guys know how much it even costs to upkeep your own private jet? Like, we're talking a lot of money. It's probably, I would say, like, and I remember I knew somebody who owned a jet and they were talking about it can be like 10 or 20 grand a month just for the upkeep, just to keep it at the airport, like the mechanics, like all these different things. Having a small plane is a very expensive venture, especially a small jet like he does. That's really big money. So Shane, yes, he's doing well and he has money, but compared to Jeffree, he doesn't. It's not like Shane has butlers walking around him, and that's the whole point, is to show what somebody in Jeffree's status of like this extreme billionaire, what that lifestyle looks like. You guys, you can have a few million and not be wealthy. And I know that sounds crazy. Let me break it down for you because I've talked about this in my videos. So one of the big challenges that I have in my life is going to be financially. I have to get to a place where I can be on my own. Now, this is challenging for me, and I'll explain why. For me to be an independent person on my own, I need to buy my own house, and I want to buy it that way. If something happens and I can't work because I have the body that I do and that can happen, it's paid off. And I need that plus an account to have everything I need for the house. That could be, taxes, repairs, utilities. Let's say I live 50 more years for the next 50 years. So let's say I try to live modestly, right? So let's say I get a home for like $250,000 in the Midwest. You can get a pretty decent home for that much in the Midwest, right? It's my forever home. Well, I need an account probably around $500,000 to $1 million to be able to set that all up. Now, here's going to be the big kicker. Live in medical care for myself, even with insurance. If I had to have somebody on call to live with me, because I could need that, especially like I still have episodes at night where I need help. It's like emergency. Go get me salt, go get me yogurt, go get me water. $75,000 a year for the next 50 years. Do the math. That's a few $1 million. So I look at my situation and I'm like, I need like $5 million to get on my own and feel like I can do it safely. This is scary. On top of that, driving is a scary thing for me with the episodes that I have. So I'll need monies for Uber. There are all these things that I would need in case I can't make money anymore. And I am determined to find a way to do it because I have to, and I want to give roommate his life back, right? But somebody could look at my situation and they could go, if this happened, because it's not there, if I had 5 or 10 million, what are you complaining about? You're rich. And it's like, you don't understand my life. So just because it sounds like a lot of money, depending on a person's situation, doesn't necessarily mean that it is. It's just very expensive to be in this country. We all know that, and it's extremely expensive to be sick in this country. Most people who are sick are in poverty. or who are on disability or chronically ill. So I just wanted to point that out because it was just like, I just saw people, oh, well, here's Shane, and Shane's kind of money shaming too, and this, that, and the other. And I was just like, it's the joke of it is you take Jeffree and do something to take him out of that element with the finest designer clothes and butlers and luxury, and you put him with everyday people. And I think Shane, even though Shane has money, he still has more of a mentality of everyday people, where Jeffree knows where he came from, but he very much is happy with where he is. And you know what? More power to him. Just because he has money doesn't mean he's like horrible. No, I'm not talking about his past actions. I'm just saying people being angry about that. I'm like, I'm not going to be angry at somebody's success. That just doesn't jive with me. And Shane can have some money and he can be doing well and he can still have, like, I'll tell you this, guys. I probably on some level will always have a poverty mindset. Even if I do super well, even if I'm able to blow this channel up or do other wonderful business ventures, which I hope I'm able to do in the future. Because of, for a lot of us, if we grew up that way, that creates a form of trauma. And Shane might feel that way. And that's okay. But I don't think he's trying to act like, oh, woe is me, I'm so broke. It's not like he's, you know, I know I was going to say this. It's not like he's asking for money, but then he'd tell Jeffree, oh, do this, do that with your money. Well, that's because Jeffree is so insanely rich. It's just absurd. And that's the joke of it. That's the joke. That's what they're playing off of. So I don't really see it. Now, the next thing I want to get into is the donation shaming, which I think is kind of interesting. And then people are saying Jeffree's trying to flaunt his donations and how tacky that is, this, that, and the other. I have a few things to say about this. So let's take a look at the few circumstances that we find this in, and then we'll break it down.
We were just talking about something off camera, and you didn't want to talk about it on camera because you're like, I don't want to whatever. But I do want to talk about this.
Okay.
Because we're going to get a lot of shit from people being like, oh, you're making fun of Walmart, making fun of whatever, even though I do shop there.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, okay, go ahead. Sorry, I just always chime in. I'm gonna be quiet.
What I was gonna say is, I was like, okay, well, we should think of like a charity or something to do, like to tie it in and be like, oh, we're donating whatever. But then you were saying earlier, are you okay with me saying this?
Yeah, go ahead. I didn't know you were gonna say it.
Well, today you were just at the LGBT center.
Yeah.
And you donated how much?
125,000.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
That's a fuck ton of money. And then one thing you said, you were just like, you know, oh, I donated, it was like, you know, I was crying, all these things. And you were talking about other companies there who donated, who were huge billion-dollar companies who donated literally nothing. Yeah. And it was like, it made you...
It made me actually cry and get so emotional because I couldn't believe that a huge company, I don't think we should say their name, but we're talking like a massive media company, and they donated like, I mean, I just hate saying an amount because then what if people are like, well, it's better than nothing, but it's like when they're a billion-dollar company and I'm just a self-made, you know, I'm a self-made company, and this company donated $2,000, and it's like less than like one of their items that you can buy, and it like actually just made me really sad, and I like was crying about it.
Well, the reason I wanted to bring it up, because that pisses me off, because I'm having my own issues right now with brands and how much I hate them, but what makes me mad is knowing that like this video is gonna get shit, right? For us, like, oh, making fun of whatever. Cut to like you donating that much money. Cut to other big companies who pretend like they give a fuck, donating nothing.
Shane, come with me.
Wait, why? What's going on?
Come here. Why? This girl next to us is a fan of me and you, and it's her birthday. Come on. Hi. Okay. Where's the bill? It's our treat. It's your birthday. Please.
Oh my god.
We got you, girl. Okay. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You said our?
Let me give it to the server, girl. Okay, bam. Hi. Oh, I'm here. Come on, got it. The lighting here is a little rough, but let's do it.
All right.
Oh my god, do we have the same phone case?
Almost.
I'm dying.
Thank
Word.
you.
You're welcome.
Nina wants to take
Of course, come in.
Yes.
Of course.
So Shane said they were talking off camera and Jeffree didn't really want him to bring it up. How is that Jeffree's fault? And Shane is complaining that Jeffree, as a self-made person and doing this all by himself with his business, gave more money to help the LGBT youth than major companies, and how furious he is at the big mainstream corporate companies. What's wrong with that? Even if Jeffree were to walk around and flaunt how much money he gives, I think it was like 125,000, right? Even if he were to do that, here's my question. Who cares? Who cares? I've been in this position where people did this with me with Rose Hall and the Daddy 05 situation. It was, we demand receipts, but if I show receipts for how much I did, oh, I'm humble bragging, and I couldn't win. And I'm at the point where it's like, you know what? If you do good things and you want to get good attention for it, or you do get good attention for it, guess what? Doesn't make you a horrible person. I would all day, every day, I'll spend with somebody doing good deeds who is an attention monger because they're trying to make the world a better place. Is that really what we've come to, where we're going to shame people who are trying to help other people, who are trying to help the LGBT? We're going to shame them because it's been talked about that they've done decent things. And I guess, like, nobody cares that corporate America, they parade around different events, they parade around different places like they care, and then they do almost next to nothing to get that good marketing PR press. That is something that a lot of companies do. Shane isn't wrong. But it's interesting that instead of being angry at the companies and the corporations that keep us all enslaved as the way that we are, we're mad at Shane and Jeffree. And you know why? Because they're easy targets. It's easier to take all of our anger out on Shane and put the target on him and the target on Jeffree, two flawed people who have a flawed past, instead of doing the real work, which is going after the corporations, going after Wall Street, who has just completely screwed everybody over with GameStop and AMC. Don't get me started. I do some trading, I do some investing, and I'm furious with what I saw. Oh, now they want to put regulations in. The markets have been rigged for so long. I just think many times, instead of actually going after the things that are really bothering us, we go after the easy stuff because it's easy. So I'm sorry, I don't see it. And then when Jeffree wanted to go pay for that girl's dinner, I thought it was sweet. And he probably threw in a ton of money for the servers and for the girl for her birthday. And then and everywhere you go in this video, you'll see it. Everywhere they go, they're very gracious about doing pictures and photo ops and talking to people. Like, okay, so if that's showing off, boo, slay all day. Show it off. I don't care. I'm glad that Jeffree is trying to do things that are good with his money. And we can say, oh, well, he was mean to Trisha. And you know what? Maybe he was. I don't know. Maybe he has shamed people. I don't know. I'm not saying he's perfect. But are we really going to shame him for giving donations and then it being talked about? I just don't think that's right. I'm not going to do that. That's just my opinion. Now, the next one I want to point out, I feel like we are missing some really big predatory problem behavior from Shane. Shane is dropping hints that he's a big old predator in this video. And I want to go over that now.
I definitely need to do my eyebrows like that. I'm only trying to do my I know.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you guys. He shouldn't be watching me, right? The little one. I'm ruining him.
Oh, wait, sure.
Ruining his childhood? Warning, do not touch my tools or my daughter.
That's so iconic.
Okay, so
When I was really young, I would look at like the underwear ads and like JCPenney and jack off.
Me too.
That's
how I found out I was gay, because I got turned on by those.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I would look at my brothers. Let's get shoes.
Okay, great.
Do you have a brother?
Huh?
Do you have a brother?
I wish.
Here we have it. We have the final proof. Shane admits that his content is not good for children, but his content was aimed at children a long time ago, so apparently he's a big old predator and a groomer. I'm just kind of waiting for the drama channels to be like, here's more evidence and proof, when he's literally just making a joke. And then the whole thing about don't touch my tools or my daughter or whatever that was, and laughing, right? Oh, well, there it is. He's just mocking people who are getting, hurt in that regard. Or maybe it's just a funny shirt. Maybe it'd be a really funny shirt for Jeffree to wear because that's so far away from who Jeffree is. Because they're shopping for Jeffree. I'm just wondering how many drama channels or how many channels will pick this up and be like, we have to have a serious talk again about Shane. I just feel like they take every little thing and they twist it as much as they can with Shane. And not to say there aren't things to be upset about, but again, context. I don't know, I think it's silly. And then here it is. Shane's incest. Oh, Shane admits to being incest with his family. He's been a predator for a long time. And again, I just wonder, I'm like, they're missing some real good clips to really twist and take out of context here. Or conspiracy theory time. Is it that Shane Dawson paid me to say that? So then channels would keep talking about him so his name would stay relevant with him next to Predator on the checks that I don't get? That's plausible. That sounds, you know what? Let's go with the craziest idea and run with it. Shane wants you guys to think he's a predator and he's paying me to put that out there because makes sense. Makes perfect sense. All that sweet Shane. I just keep laughing that people really think that's a thing and that Trisha Paytas really thinks that's a thing. It just makes me giggle. And the last thing I want to point out, nobody else is pointing out, Shane and Jeffree broke the law. And they filmed it. And nobody cares. So let's take a look at that.
We're not allowed recording. Recording, so I asked you to leave.
Wait, do you know where Walmart is?
We're about to look. We're about to illegally look on our phones.
Okay.
We've been kicked out. And that's okay. I'm used to it.
You're still recording. I believe the property.
We're outside though, we
It's
can't.
still our property.
Where's not
I
your
have to ask you
property?
to leave, so
Olive
I'm
Garden?
not letting
So, it's against Walmart store policy for them to be filming. Therefore, Walmart can set up its own rules and they could sue them. They could sue them. Why is nobody talking about this? I'm sorry. The end, I'm being very facetious and sarcastic because I'm just really tired of seeing everybody twist everything that is saying. And I saw this stuff and I'm like, where are the accusations? You know they're gonna come at some point. Sound off if there's anybody actually making accusations about these clips. I hope we haven't gotten so far away from context that people can understand that these were just jokes. And I don't think it's anything to be taken seriously. Yeah, so I guess in conclusion, did Jeffree money shame? Might have. I mean, we have some pretty damaging clips between that and that podcast, but I wanted to throw all this out there because should we really shame somebody for their donations and whether or not they do or don't talk about it? Should we shame somebody who paid for somebody's meal? Oh, well, they're should we shame Shane because he's showing a joke between the fact that he might have a few million, which is way better than what we're doing, but Shane has billions and it's a totally different lifestyle. People are like, oh, Shane's trying to act like one of us and he's broke. He's not broke. Compared to Jeffree, everybody's broke. And that's not any shade. We are. That's the whole point of the video. That's the comedy about it. There have been so many movies and so many comedies about taking somebody extremely wealthy and putting them into humble settings and watching how they grow and all the mistakes they make. And that's the whole point. It's that same type of comedy. And I don't know. I just don't see much wrong with it. But again, drama channels are missing. They're missing their clips. If you like this video, guys, please give me a big thumbs up, like the video. Also hit subscribe and the notification button so you can be notified when I upload. Sound off in the comments. What do you think? Now, by the way, I'm not talking about any of Jeffree's past, any of the R-word stuff, or Shane's past, okay? If you're upset with him for reasons in his past, that is more power to you. That is for you to decide, especially for a minority. I couldn't be in your position. I don't know what that's like. I would never tell you how to feel or how you should act. That is everybody's individual preference, and I absolutely 1,000% respect that. But I'm just talking about this video as it is right now. I just think people just really want to hate Shane and Jeffree. But we all know the cycles of drama on YouTube. And at some point, most likely, if this doesn't completely crush Shane, which I hope it doesn't, the tides will turn. And I believe things are just on the cusp of getting interesting. All right, guys, take care. I will see you soon. Hugs, kisses, blessings to everybody. Until the next video, stay safe, stay healthy. I love you all, and I will see you later. Mwah! And a hug. Bye, guys.